Envision yourself at the base of a giant mountain. The top is hidden by clouds and seems unreachable. But here's a surprising fact. That mountain is actually a metaphor for you. The real challenge to overcome is within your own thoughts. I'm here to guide you on this adventure of personal growth and understanding, using the age-old lessons of Stoic philosophy. Every day we face challenges, yet the most formidable foe is not around us. It's the reflection we see in the mirror. The wise Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught us a vital lesson. Our main job in life is to discern which problems we can control and which we cannot. This understanding helps us concentrate on the things that really count our decisions. Why should we care about the teachings of ancient philosophers? Their insights have endured through centuries, helping both rulers and common folk alike. In today's fast-paced, distraction-filled world, their advice on achieving inner calm and lasting success is incredibly pertinent. Consider a recent moment when you were browsing social media and felt jealous of someone else's success. That feeling isn't the real issue. The true struggle is with the internal voice that tells you you're not enough. Marcus Aurelius, a great emperor and philosopher, once noted in his writings, "You control your thinking, not the events around you. Understand this, and you'll discover your strength." In the coming hour, we will address the major hurdles that keep you from reaching your full potential. We will explore in depth. 1. Controlling your pride. 2. Defeating delays. 3. Developing strong self-control. 4. Avoiding interruptions. 5. Stopping negative behaviors. 6. Quieting inner criticism. 7. Confronting what scares you. 8. Nourishing your body and thoughts. 9. Releasing harmful pressures. 10. Building resilience. 11. Fostering positive relationships. 12. Stretching past your usual limits. Here's what's different about this video. It's not just another piece of self-help advice. We're not here to throw quick fixes or vague promises at you. Instead, we're talking about meaningful, enduring transformation. As Musonius Rufus, often called the Roman Socrates, once pointed out, our learning shouldn't just be for making speeches, but for living rightly. You might be thinking, oh, another video that just tells me to keep pushing harder. But that's not our angle. The Stoics, the philosophers we're discussing, didn't believe in just bearing down and enduring. They focused on knowing yourself, ensuring your actions reflect your true values, and achieving genuine satisfaction. Consider Zeno of Citium, the man who started Stoicism. When he lost everything in a shipwreck, he didn't just resign himself to his fate. Instead, he saw it as a chance to reboot his life and chase after knowledge. That's the kind of resilient mindset and fresh perspective we're aiming to inspire in you. By the end of this video, you'll walk away with real strategies to tackle the challenges within yourself. You'll learn how to use your thoughts to your advantage, much like Cleanthes, who carried water at night to afford his philosophy studies by day, and grew to be one of the esteemed Stoic philosophers. But remember, having knowledge without putting it into practice is merely academic. True transformation happens when you apply these teachings every day. As Seneca smartly put it, luck occurs when you're ready and the right chance comes along. So, are you set to get ready? Are you prepared to face your toughest challenge, yourself? Every big journey begins with a single step, and your path to becoming the best you can be begins right now. Let's get started. Welcome to our first challenge, mastering our ego. The ego, that little voice that sometimes tells you you're either the greatest or the worst, is a strong but often misleading guide. Here's a thought from the Stoics to kick things off. You are not your reputation, not what others think of you, and not even what you think of yourself. These are strong words, but what do they really mean for us? Imagine you've just been complimented for doing something great. Your ego might make you feel unbeatable. Or think about a time you failed at something. Suddenly, your ego makes you feel utterly worthless. Both feelings are deceptive. The Stoics knew that our egos can mislead us. Epictetus once wisely remarked, "You can't learn anything if you think you already know it." A big ego can blind us to our mistakes and stop our progress. Similarly, a hurt ego can freeze us with doubt. So, how do we control this tricky part of ourselves? Let's analyze it step by step. 1. Be humble. Zeno of Citium once said, "Since we have 2 ears and only 1 mouth, it reminds us to listen more than we talk." Next time you feel like bragging or defending your pride, try just listening. You might discover something new. 2. Accept criticism. Don't take criticism as an attack. Think of it as helpful advice. Cleanthes, often mocked for his simple background, turned that mockery into motivation for self-improvement. 3. Detach from your actions. You are not defined by your victories or defeats. As Seneca said, "He who boasts of his ancestry is praising the deeds of another." Your actions don't determine your value. They are chances to grow. 4. Use self-deprecating humor. It's okay to laugh at yourself now and then. It helps you stay humble and friendly. Even the Emperor Marcus Aurelius made fun of himself in his writings. 5. Aim for progress, not perfection. Musonius Rufus advised, "If you achieve something good through hard work, the effort fades, but the benefit lasts. If you do something wrong for pleasure, the enjoyment fades, but the regret lasts." Remember, controlling your ego isn't about crushing your self-confidence. It's about creating a balance, being confident enough to chase your dreams, yet humble enough to recognize your shortcomings and keep learning. Social media tends to boost our egos with likes and follows. In today's world, try this. Before you post something, ask yourself, am I sharing this genuinely or just to boost my ego? Taking a moment to think about this can really open your eyes. Hierocles, a lesser-known Stoic philosopher, suggested a practice of expanding your circle of care. Start with caring for yourself, then extend that care to your family, friends, your community, and eventually to all people. This way of thinking can help reduce an overly large ego. As we conclude this section, keep in mind, your ego should be a tool, not your boss. Let it inspire you, but don't let it define who you are. Echoing the words of Seneca, it is not the person who is too little, but the person who desires more, who is truly poor. Moving forward to the next section, we'll face a tough challenge: procrastination. But first, I want you to observe your ego this week. Notice when it pops up and try out one of the strategies we've covered. Feel free to share how it went in the comments below. Remember, it's a continuous struggle to control your ego, but every little win brings you closer to mastering your own mind. Stay strong and humble, and see you in the next chapter. In our previous chapter, we discussed the ego. Now, we confront another tough enemy: procrastination, our annoying tendency to delay what we should be doing right now. Let's start with a thought-provoking quote from Seneca. "While we are postponing, life speeds by." Haven't we all felt the truth of those words? Procrastination isn't just about laziness. It's a complicated issue, often driven by fear, a desire for perfection, or simply feeling overwhelmed. The Stoics understood this problem thousands of years ago, and their insights are still useful for us today. Epictetus said, "No great thing is created suddenly, just like grapes or a fig. If you ask for a fig, I'll tell you it needs time. It must flower, bear fruit, and then ripen." This teaches us that meaningful efforts take time, but also that we must start somewhere for anything to happen. 1. Divide tasks into smaller parts. Keep in mind, don't be scared by the entire task. Just focus on what you can do today. When a task looks too big, break it down into smaller, easier pieces. 2. Begin with the toughest task. Epictetus suggested, start small, and as you get better, move on to more important things. It's best to handle your most difficult job early in the day when you're most determined. 3. Try the 5-minute rule. Decide to spend just 5 minutes on a task. The toughest part is often just starting, but once you do, you're likely to keep going. Imagine the steps, not just the end. Don't just think about finishing your project. Picture yourself actually working on it. This mental practice can make it easier to start. 5. Accept that it's okay to be imperfect. Zeno of Citium taught, progress is made step by step, and it adds up to something great. Remember, it's better to finish than to be perfect. Now, let's tackle a common issue: getting sidetracked by our gadgets. Our phones and computers, though handy, often lead us to put things off. Here's a technique inspired by Stoic thinking. Before you look at your phone or open another tab, stop for a second and ask yourself, do I really need to do this now? This small pause can help you stop mindlessly reaching for your device. Heracles once recommended a method where we review our day backwards. Every evening, think about what you managed to do and what you didn't get around to. Instead of judging yourself, just notice what happens. This approach can help you see your habits of delaying tasks more clearly. Remember, the goal isn't to turn into a productivity robot. It's to make sure your actions reflect your priorities and ambitions. Seneca once said wisely, "A well-lived life feels longer when you make the most of it." Here's a task for the upcoming week. 1. Pick a task you've been avoiding. 2. Break it down into small steps and spend just 5 minutes on it each day. 3. Share how it goes in the comments below. In our next section, we'll look into developing solid discipline. But for now, keep in mind what Marcus Aurelius said: you control your mind, not what happens around you. Understand this, and you'll grow stronger. Stay determined and focused. Each small win over delay is a step towards controlling your thoughts. We've faced our ego and dealt with delaying tasks. Now, we're ready for a big test: creating firm discipline. Let's start with a meaningful quote from Epictetus. No one is truly free unless they can control themselves. This is the heart of discipline, being able to manage our actions, thoughts, and feelings. Discipline isn't about punishment. It's about gaining the freedom to choose our actions thoughtfully, instead of being swayed by temporary wants or worries. The Stoics believed that real strength comes from within, from our capacity to control ourselves. As Marcus Aurelius put in his Meditations, you can control your thoughts, but not what happens around you. Understand this, and you will gain strength. This belief is the foundation of Stoic discipline. How do we develop this strength? Let's simplify it. 1. Begin with small steps. Musonius Rufus once said, "Habit has a strong impact." Start with tiny, easy-to-manage habits. This could be as simple as making your bed every morning or spending 5 minutes meditating each day. 2. Reflect daily. Seneca suggested, Each night, we should review our actions. Spend some time every day thinking about your actions. Ask yourself if they align with your values and objectives. 3. Accept challenges. Epictetus taught, to improve, you must be okay with others thinking you're foolish or silly. Being disciplined sometimes means doing things that feel tough. Welcome these challenges. 4. Concentrate on what you can influence. The Stoics stressed the importance of focusing on things within our control. Put your efforts into what you do and how you respond, rather than worrying about the results. 5. Create a morning routine. Many Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, began their day by reflecting and planning. Having a steady morning routine can help you start your day with discipline. Now, let's tackle a modern problem, the endless flow of notifications and distractions. Try this approach inspired by Stoic philosophy. Switch off all notifications for 1 hour each day. Spend this time on focused work or deep thinking. This exercise in self-control can help boost your overall discipline. Hierocles advised imagining widening circles of concern, starting with yourself and gradually extending outward. Use this idea for discipline. Begin by managing small, personal habits. Then gradually apply this self-discipline to your dealings with others, at work and in the community. Remember, developing discipline isn't about being flawless. It's about steady effort and gradual progress. As Epictetus put it, a wise person does not mourn the things he doesn't have, but is joyful for what he does have. For the upcoming week, pick one aspect of your life where you want to increase discipline. It might be getting up earlier, keeping to an exercise schedule, or cutting down on social media. Stick with it for 7 days, no matter how small the step. Then, share what you've learned and your experiences in the comments below. In the upcoming section, we will look at how to beat distractions and keep our focus sharp. But for now, keep these wise words from Seneca in mind. A mind worried about what comes next is truly unhappy. Stay in the moment, keep disciplined, and have faith in your journey. As we wrap up this part, think about this idea. Every time you choose discipline, you're casting a vote for the type of person you aim to be. Every small step of self-restraint lays another brick in the strong foundation of your solid discipline. Remember, the road to being great at something is made up of small, regular steps. Up to this point, we've developed a sense of self-awareness, addressed our tendency to delay tasks, and strengthened our discipline. Next, we confront a common issue in today's world, beating distractions. Let's consider a deep insight from Seneca. To be everywhere is to be nowhere. In our world that's always connected, this statement is more relevant than ever. Our attention is often scattered, reducing our focus and weakening our effectiveness. The Stoics, who lived in much simpler times, recognized the value of maintaining focus. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Focus intensely on whatever you're doing, as if it's the most important thing." But how can we stay focused in a world full of constant notifications, endless social media scrolls, and too much information? Here are some practical steps to follow. Create a space free from distractions. Epictetus once said, "If you wish to improve, be willing to appear foolish and stupid." This may involve turning off notifications, using tools to block distracting websites, or even using a simpler phone. It's okay to look out of touch if it helps you focus better. 1. Focus on one thing at a time. Epictetus also taught, we should train ourselves with small things first, then move to larger ones. Begin by concentrating on a single task for just 15 minutes. Slowly extend this time as you get better. 2. Use the stop and think method. Before you switch tasks or reach for your phone, pause and ask yourself, do I really need to do this now? This pause can help you stop the automatic pull of distractions. 3. Plan time for distractions. Seneca said, vices sneak in disguised as virtues. Instead of cutting out all distractions, set specific times for them. This can help you stay focused when it's time to get things done. Practice being mindful. Marcus Aurelius noted, you control your mind, not external events. Understand this, and you will be strong. Regular mindfulness helps you notice when you're losing focus and guides your attention back. Now, let's tackle a common problem today, being overwhelmed by digital clutter. Try this method inspired by ancient Stoic wisdom. For 1 week, keep a log of your distractions. Record each time you lose focus, what caused it, and what you were supposed to be doing instead. This awareness can open your eyes and reveal habits. Hierocles once suggested imagining concentric circles of concern with ourselves at the center. Apply this idea to where you place your attention. What truly deserves your immediate focus? What should be pushed to the outer rings? Remember, the goal isn't to never lose focus, but to be more purposeful with where you place your attention. As Epictetus put it, it's not what happens that affects you, but how you respond to it. Here's your challenge for the upcoming week. 1. Set aside 1 hour each day for 0 distractions. 2. Use this hour for focused work, self-reflection, or spending time with loved ones. 3. Afterwards, share how it went in the comments below. In our upcoming section, we'll dive into how to quit bad habits. For the moment, keep in mind these words from Marcus Aurelius. You always have the choice to hold no opinion. You don't need to get upset or worry about things beyond your control. These things do not need your judgment. Just let them be. As we wrap up this chapter, think about this. Your attention is the most precious thing you have. What you focus on shapes your life. By improving your ability to concentrate, you're not just boosting your productivity, you're taking back control of your life. Stay focused, stay in the moment, and remember, every minute you focus deliberately is a step towards mastering your own mind and life. We've journeyed through understanding ourselves, delaying tasks, discipline, and focusing. Next, we'll tackle a challenge that affects all parts of our lives, getting rid of bad habits. Let's start with an insightful saying. Habits start as thin threads, but turn into thick ropes. This strong image shows us that habits, whether good or bad, get stronger over time. It's important to notice and deal with them early. The Stoics believed that our regular actions form our character. As Will Durant, influenced by Stoicism, famously put it, what we do often shapes who we are. Therefore, being excellent is a matter of habit, not just one-time actions. So how can we break free from bad habits and start good ones? Here's a step-by-step guide. 1. Spot the cause. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, if something outside bothers you, it's not the thing itself, but your view of it that causes the pain, and you can change that view any time. Identify what starts your bad habits. 2. Substitute rather than eliminate. Aristotle believed, nature hates emptiness. Don't just try to stop a bad habit, replace it with a good one. 3. Be kind to yourself. Epictetus said, if you want to get better, be okay with being seen as foolish and silly. Have patience with yourself. Changing habits is a slow process. 4. Imagine succeeding. Often imagine yourself defeating your bad habit. 5. Build support. Seneca often discussed self-improvement with his friend Lucilius. Find a friend who can help keep you accountable or share your aims with someone you trust. Now let's tackle a current issue: digital habits. Many of us find ourselves spending too much time on screens or social media. Here's a Stoic-inspired approach. For 1 week, before you start any digital activity, stop and ask yourself, does this match my values and goals? This quick pause for thought can interrupt your usual digital routines. Heracles recommended a practice of reviewing our roles and duties. Use this idea with your habits. Think about how your habits fit with your roles as a friend, family member, professional, and community member. Seeing things this way can inspire you to make changes. Remember, the goal of breaking bad habits isn't to be perfect. It's about making progress and getting better over time. As Epictetus put it, a wise person doesn't mourn the things he doesn't have, but is happy about what he does have. Here's your challenge for the coming week. 1. Pick one bad habit you'd like to stop. 2. Figure out what triggers it. 3. Choose a positive habit as a replacement and stick with it for a week. Share what you learn and your experiences in the comments below. In the next section of our book, we'll look at ways to quiet self-doubt. For now, keep in mind what Marcus Aurelius advised. Act as if the deed you do now is your last. As we finish this chapter, think about this. Every time you pick a good action over a bad habit, you're deciding on the kind of person you want to be. You're building your character, one decision at a time. Always remember, you have the ability to change your habits on your own. We've already tackled bad habits, and now we're up against a very tricky challenge: self-doubt. It's that little voice that says, "You're not good enough, you can't manage it," or "Who do you think you are?" We'll start this part with another important thought from Marcus Aurelius. You control your mind, not what happens around you. Understand this, and you'll find your inner strength. This teaches us that self-doubt comes from within, not from the outside, and we can manage it. The Stoic philosophers believed that our own thoughts about ourselves often bring us more trouble than anything else that happens to us. As Epictetus put it, it's not the events themselves that disturb people, but their thoughts about them. How can we quiet these troubling thoughts of self-doubt? Let's simplify it. 1. Understand self-doubt. Seneca said, "We often suffer more in our imagination than in reality." When you feel doubtful, stop and think, is this doubt real, or am I just scared? 2. Be kind to yourself. Heracles spoke about starting with ourselves and then caring for others around us. Treat yourself as gently as you would treat a good friend who is doubting themselves. 3. Focus on what's in your hands. Epictetus taught, the path to happiness is to stop worrying about things beyond our control. Concentrate on your actions, not the results. 4. Think about the worst-case scenario. Strangely, picturing the worst outcome can actually quiet your doubts. Seneca said, "A person who is afraid of death will never achieve anything significant." 5. Act despite doubts. Plato believed, the greatest victory is to conquer yourself. Taking small steps despite doubts can gradually build your confidence. Now, let's tackle a current issue: comparing ourselves on social media. Try this approach inspired by Stoic philosophy. For a week before you go on social media, remind yourself, I'm only seeing the best parts of others' lives, not their everyday struggles. This mindset can help you avoid feeling inadequate due to comparisons. Zeno of Citium, who started Stoicism, spoke about living in harmony with nature. Think about this in terms of self-doubt. Does your doubt reflect who you really are and what you're capable of, or is it just a reaction based on fear? Remember, overcoming self-doubt doesn't mean you'll never feel unsure. It means not letting those feelings stop you. As Marcus Aurelius put it, your life is shaped by your thoughts. Here's a challenge for the coming week. 1. Note down each time you experience self-doubt. 2. Write a kind and logical reply to each doubt. 3. Share what you've learned and felt in the comments section below. In our next chapter, we'll look at confronting our fears. But for now, keep in mind Epictetus' words. A person who is not content with little will never be content with much. As we conclude this chapter, consider this. Every time you overcome self-doubt, you're building a tougher, more resilient version of yourself. You're demonstrating your ability, worthiness, and strength. Remember, self-doubt might be loud, but your inner strength is stronger. Now let's explore a big challenge we all face, our fears. Fear can stop us from fully enjoying life and chasing our dreams. We'll begin with a meaningful quote from Seneca. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. This tells us that our fears are usually scarier in our heads than they are in real life. The Stoics, a group of ancient philosophers, knew that while fear is a common feeling, it shouldn't dictate what we do. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you respond to it that matters." So how can we tackle our fears and keep moving forward? Here's a simple guide. 1. Recognize your fears. Marcus Aurelius once advised, if you are upset by something outside of you, it's not the thing itself that bothers you, but your view of it, and you can change that view anytime. By naming your fears, you can start to lessen their hold on you. 2. Think about the worst-case scenario. It might sound strange, but picturing the worst can actually help calm your fears. Seneca said, "He who fears death will never do anything worthy of a living man." 3. Concentrate on what you can influence. Epictetus taught, "The only way to happiness is to stop worrying about things outside our control. Focus on your actions, not on what might happen." 4. Take small steps. Musonius Rufus believed in practicing with little things before tackling bigger challenges. Begin with minor challenges to gradually overcome your fears. 5. Turn fear into excitement. Zeno of Citium, who started Stoicism, thought it was important to live in tune with nature. Recognize that fear is a normal feeling and try to turn it into positive energy. Now, let's tackle a current issue, the fear of failing in the era of social media. Try using this approach inspired by ancient Stoic philosophy. For a week, whenever you think about avoiding something because you're scared of failing, stop for a moment and ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen, and could I deal with it? This practical check often shows that our fears aren't as overwhelming as they seem. Heracles advised us to think about our concerns like expanding circles. Apply this idea to your fears. Consider not just how your fears affect you, but also your family, community, and even all of humanity. Seeing the bigger picture can push you to act in spite of your fears. Remember, overcoming your fears doesn't mean you won't be afraid. It means choosing to be brave even when you are scared. Marcus Aurelius once noted, "You control your mind, not what happens outside." Understand this, and you will find strength. Here's a challenge for the coming week. 1. Pick a fear that you want to confront. 2. Split it into small, doable steps and pledge to tackle one step each day. 3. Share what you learn and your experiences in the comments below. In our next section, we'll dive into how the food we eat influences our mental well-being. But before we get there, let's hold on to a thought from Seneca. It's not that things are tough that stops us from trying. It's that we don't try that makes things tough. Every time you confront something that scares you, you're stretching your comfort zone and showing yourself that you can do more than you thought. You're not just getting past fear, you're growing braver. Remember, growth and new possibilities are waiting just beyond fear. We've tackled our fears, and now we turn our attention to something we often ignore when thinking about our mental and physical health: our diet. Let's start with an age-old saying. People are fed by food in two ways. One is physical, the other is spiritual. This tells us that our food impacts not just our bodies, but also our minds and souls. Even though the ancient Stoics didn't have today's nutritional science, they knew the value of eating in moderation and being mindful of what we eat. Epictetus once said, "No one is truly free who doesn't have control over themselves." This is true for our thoughts and actions, and for how we eat as well. How can we use Stoic wisdom to improve our diet? Here's a simple guide. 1. Eat mindfully. Slow down when you eat. Focus on the flavors, textures, and feelings your food gives you. 2. Prioritize quality. Seneca taught, "The person who craves more, not the one who has little, is truly poor." Choose your food wisely. 3. Understand the role of food. Keep in mind that food is mainly for nourishment, not just enjoyment. While it's okay to enjoy what you eat, its main purpose is to sustain you. 4. Try fasting sometimes. The Stoics would occasionally choose to endure hardships, like fasting. This can make you more thankful for your food and boost your self-discipline. 5. Be thankful for your meals. Epictetus said, "The wise person does not mourn what he lacks, but is thankful for what he has." Appreciate every meal. Now consider the challenge of too much processed and junk food. Use this Stoic approach. For 1 week before you eat, ask yourself, is this food nourishing me or just fulfilling a craving? Taking a moment to think can lead to better food choices. Hierocles talked about widening our circle of concern. Think about how your eating affects not just you, but also your family, community, and the environment. Improving your diet isn't about being perfect. It's about consistent, thoughtful choices. Challenge for the week. 1. Identify one bad eating habit you want to fix. Maybe it's late-night snacks, too much soda, or eating too quickly. 2. Commit to changing this habit for 1 week. 3. Share what you learn and how you feel in the comments below. In the upcoming section, we will focus on how to move past harmful relationships and memories. For the moment, keep in mind this thought from Epictetus. What truly matters is not the events you face, but how you react to them. Every time you choose a healthy meal instead of an unhealthy one, you're doing more than just eating right. You're caring for your mind and spirit as well. This act is a form of self-love and care that you can see and feel. Be conscious, stay well-fed. Remember, the choices you make about what you eat are under your control. Opt for things that uplift and benefit you the most. We've already discussed how to feed our bodies thoughtfully. Next, we'll address how to heal our spirits by dealing with harmful relationships and past hurts. We start with a meaningful quote from Epictetus. "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This teaches us that although we can't control other people or undo the past, we can manage our reactions and the significance we give to what happens to us. The Stoic philosophers believed that the people we interact with and our past experiences play a big role in our happiness. As Marcus Aurelius said, the greatest way to get back is by being nothing like the one who wronged you. So, how can we deal with toxic relationships and move past hurtful memories? Let's break it down step by step. 1. Identify toxic people. Seneca once said, "Surround yourself with people who make you better." Honestly assess which relationships exhaust you and which ones lift you up. 2. Establish healthy boundaries. Epictetus taught, "If you want to get better, be okay with being thought foolish and stupid." It's okay if setting boundaries upsets others. It's essential for your own health. 3. Embrace forgiveness. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, the best revenge is to be unlike the person who hurt you. Forgiving is more about setting yourself free than excusing the other person. 4. Change your perspective on painful memories. Epictetus advised, "People are not disturbed by things, but by their perception of things. Look for lessons or opportunities for growth in tough times." Now, let's tackle a current issue: digital connections and social media. Try this Stoic-inspired method. For a week, before you connect digitally, ask yourself, does this interaction enrich my life? This thought can help you foster more beneficial digital interactions. Hierocles suggested picturing expanding circles of concern. Use this idea in your relationships. Consider how your closest relationships affect your broader social and community circles. This viewpoint can inspire you to develop healthier connections. Dealing with toxic relationships and painful memories doesn't mean avoiding all conflict or discomfort. It's about handling these issues in ways that reflect your values and encourage personal growth. Here's a challenge for the upcoming week. 1. Pick one toxic relationship or painful memory you want to work on. 2. Note down 3 specific steps you can take to establish boundaries, forgive, or change your perspective. 3. Share what you've learned and your experiences in the comments below. Keep in mind what Marcus Aurelius said, "You control your own mind, not what happens around you." Understand this, and you'll gain strength. I hope you start taking back your control. When you set clear limits or rethink a difficult past event, you are choosing progress over ease, knowledge over what you're used to. Stay courageous and true to yourself. Remember, you decide what kind of energy you let into your life. Make that choice carefully. We've faced many obstacles together, and now we're up against a big one, stepping out of our comfort zones. Here's an inspiring thought from Seneca to start us off. Things aren't difficult because we can't do them. They're difficult because we hesitate to try. This gets to the heart of why leaving our comfort zones is crucial. It's about having the courage to grow. The Stoics believed real improvement and goodness come from tackling challenges. There's a well-known saying, "Step out of your comfort zone." You only grow when you're willing to feel awkward and uncomfortable trying new things. So, how do we move past our comfort zones and grow? Here's a simple guide. 1. Accept discomfort. Epictetus said, "If you want to get better, be okay with looking foolish and silly." Often growing means doing things that feel awkward or new. 2. Begin with small steps. Musonius Rufus suggested, start practicing with little things and gradually move to bigger challenges. Take tiny steps beyond your usual limits. 3. View challenges as chances. Marcus Aurelius believed, an obstacle on the path can push us forward. What blocks our way can become our path. Consider every hurdle as an opportunity to improve. 4. Choose difficult situations on purpose. The Stoics would often seek out tough situations intentionally. Try doing something that's slightly uncomfortable on purpose to strengthen your resilience. 5. Concentrate on the journey, not the destination. Epictetus taught us, it's not what happens to you, but how you respond to it that counts. Focus on the personal growth that comes from challenging yourself, no matter the outcome. Building resilience and fostering positive relationships are essential aspects of Stoic philosophy, which teaches us how to thrive in the face of life's challenges and build meaningful connections with others. Building resilience. Life throws many challenges our way, and how we bounce back from them defines our character. Resilience isn't about avoiding difficulties, but about facing them head-on and emerging stronger. Here's how we can build this invaluable trait. 1. Acceptance. First, it's important to understand that difficulties are a natural part of everyone's life. The philosopher Epictetus taught us to not insist that things happen the way we want them to. Instead, we should hope they happen as they actually do, and this mindset will help us cope better. By accepting situations as they are, we can use our energy to change what's possible instead of worrying about what's not. 2. Thankfulness. Make it a habit to recognize and appreciate at least one good thing each day, even during hard times. The wise Emperor Marcus Aurelius advised us to appreciate what we have now and not to ruin it by wanting what we don't have. Remember, what you have now was once something you only wished for. Being thankful helps us see the positive side of life and strengthens our ability to endure challenges. 3. Grow from challenges. Each challenge is a chance to learn. Think about what didn't work and what you can do better next time. This approach doesn't just get you ready for future difficulties, but also transforms obstacles into foundations for success. 4. Stay connected to your purpose. Knowing why you're doing what you're doing can give you the strength to keep going when times are tough. Seneca taught, "Our plans fail because they lack direction. If a person doesn't know which port they're heading to, no wind will be favorable." Fostering positive relationships. Our relationships can lift us up or weigh us down. Stoicism teaches us to cultivate relationships that are supportive and enriching. 1. Choose your company wisely. As Seneca advised, spend time with people who will help you grow. Embrace those who can teach you something. This interaction benefits everyone involved because we learn as we share our knowledge. 2. Be a good listener. Relationships strengthen when we truly listen to each other. Zeno of Citium noted, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we should listen more than we say." Listening builds understanding and trust. 3. Offer help and ask for it. Mutual support is key in relationships. Don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it, and be ready to help others when they need you. Stoicism encourages us to be there for each other as part of a community. 4. Communicate openly and honestly. Clear communication is foundational in any relationship. Marcus Aurelius advocated for straightforwardness. Be plain, good son, and sincere. Less good is never free from anxiety, while evil always carries fear with it. Let's tackle a common issue in today's world, being stuck in our daily routines. Try using this method inspired by Stoic philosophy. For a week, do something new every day. It could be anything small like tasting a different type of food, taking a new way to work, or picking up a new skill online. Heracles encouraged us to care about wider circles of people. Think about how leaving your comfort zone could not just help you, but also positively impact your family, your community, and even the wider world. Remember, stepping out of your usual routine isn't about making life stressful or taking unnecessary risks. It's about slowly and deliberately growing. As the philosopher Seneca once remarked, if you don't know where you're headed, no wind will be in your favor. Here's one last task for you. 1. Pick a big way you'd like to push yourself out of your comfort zone this coming month. 2. Break it down into smaller weekly targets and make a plan to achieve them. 3. Tell us about your goals and your progress in the comments below. As we wrap up our journey, remember this: stepping outside your comfort zone and tackling discomfort not only uncovers your true abilities, but also helps you understand who you are. Each time you test your usual boundaries, you discover more about yourself and enhance your abilities. Think about this. The most significant growth happens just outside your comfort zone. By pushing these limits, you're not only transforming yourself, but also influencing your world. Thanks for being part of this stoic path to self-betterment. Remember, the ongoing challenge is always you versus you. With the insights from Stoic teachings and your own resilience, you're equipped to take on any challenges. Stay curious, courageous, and keep advancing. The best version of yourself lies just beyond what feels comfortable. Embrace this journey. Though our series ends here, your adventure in Stoicism is just beginning. As the philosopher Epictetus said, don't just talk about your principles, live them. Now it's up to you to put these ideas into practice every day. Progress might be slow, but keep pushing forward patiently. Every difficulty, every setback, and every success gives you a chance to practice Stoicism. As we finish, I encourage you to pick one lesson from our discussions and really dedicate yourself to it this week. Share what you learn and experience with our community. Remember, the true battle, you versus you, lasts your whole life. But with each little win, you are getting closer to the best version of yourself. Stay strong, stay wise, and continue to grow. Your journey in Stoicism is just starting.